and how these people have been conditioned not to talk and just to live with it. And I've discovered this leads to suicide at times. It leads to not being able to live your life to the best that you can achieve within the environment you find yourself. So thank you very much for bringing me here. I have a passion for youth. I have a passion for adolescents. I'm known where I work that whenever a youth comes, if I have to get up, attend to that person, do it well, I will. And anytime I'm invited to talk about abuse and harassment, I always want to thank my mother for one thing. Because mothers these days, I have some slight reservations for most mothers. Looking back now, I always thank her. When it's time for long vacation holiday, everybody can go wherever they like. I was never allowed to go. Rather, I'll follow her to her shop, follow her to the bank, follow her to where she used to run her business. I did not understand until I started mixing with my fellow teachers and they start narrating stories of abuse. The only thing I can remember is when she would say, "Berry, sorry, Wallow Berry, compare Mobi, I'm going to interpret. You are not following them. You are not going anywhere. I cannot cry. I cannot tell any story." That was the best she could do. She would say, "Sorry, you are my only daughter. You're not going anywhere. You're not going with them. It's not possible. You stay where I stay. I want to be seeing you. I want my eagle eyes on you." Unfortunately, the way the country is going, mothers don't have time, fathers don't have time. Mother will go right, father will go left, and the children will go in the middle and do whatever they like. Before I go on to, I've discovered that among you youths now, what is right is wrong, and what is wrong is right, and it is a bit of a shame. So I want us to quickly just take a look at our keywords. The first speaker has talked about it, so I'll be very brief on it. Youth, that is the stage between childhood and adulthood. In Nigeria, once you are 18 to 19, although they are bringing it down now because people are growing up faster than it was. So what is abuse? Abuse has different meanings. Treat somebody in a cruel way. Don't let us forget that our first speaker told us that cruelty is not when you beat somebody. It can be in the way you look at somebody. It can be in the way you talk to somebody. It is abuse. When you are violent, especially regularly and repeatedly, it is abuse. Improper use of something, it is abuse. I've discovered again that for us youths of these days, nobody is even abusing us. We are the ones abusing ourselves. I am abusing myself. I'm coming from the examination hall. This morning I've been to exams. I'm coming right from there here. You will see half-naked girls. They are abusing their bodies as far as I'm concerned. I no longer talk with them. I just see them as well. It is well with them. You are coming from a home half-naked. You are abusing yourselves. In my study of at-risk behavior, I discovered also that many of you youths, you are into all these things voluntarily, but you don't recognize it as abuse because many of you were initiated to it when you were very, very little. So the abnormal becomes normal for you. But today, we want to open your ears and your minds to the fact that these things are not normal. They are abnormal. Yes, abuse. Then we have the harassment. What is harassment? Aggressive pressure or intimidation. We talked about that this morning. So harassment is when someone repeatedly behaves in a way that makes you feel scared, distressed, or threatened. When I was talking with one client of mine, What made her to keep quiet was the person abusing her told her she was going to kill her grandmother, kill her father, and kill her mother, to kill the entirety of those people that she loved. That is harassment. So how does Rotary define harassment? Rotary Club does not take kindly to harassment at all. Sorry, my husband is a Rotarian, so I have so many stories, which shows me that this is a very firm and good club to belong to. They hate anything called abuse, and they stand against anything called harassment. So Rotary define harassment as any conduct, whether it's verbal or physical, that degrades, insults, or offend the person on grounds based on any characteristics. So people will abuse you, they will do what because of your ethnicity. They'll say Somo Igbo, or you say it's Somo Yoruba. Rotary takes against that. Everybody should be the same and on the same page, whether you're. So we have criminal exploitation and gangs. Belonging to a gang, many of us here belong to one gang or the other. Then being forced to belong to a gang. I've met a student before that ran away from a university here in Nigeria because they insisted that he must belong to their gang because they found out that he was very, very brilliant. So it is either you get involved in it voluntarily, or maybe it's a criminal thing. The next page, please. Here we have domestic abuse. What is domestic abuse? Domestic abuse can be emotional, it can be physical, it can be sexual, it can be financial, it can be psychological. Such as kicking, eating, punching, or cutting. Rape can be even in a relationship. Once you tell your boyfriend I'm not interested and he forces you, it is rape. Once you tell your husband I'm not interested, or the husband tells the wife I'm not interested, and you force yourself on him, it is rape. Controlling someone's finances by withholding money or stopping someone's earning. Some will just say don't work, just stay at home. All those things are abuse. Many of us don't recognize it as such because of the way we were brought up, but it is abuse. Then controlling behavior, like telling someone where they can go and what they can wear. Don't wear this, don't go there. All those things are abuse. Not letting someone leave the house. Isolating someone. Reading emails, text messages, or letters. Going through somebody's phone that is not yours, is abuse. Trying to kill someone or harm them, abuse. Threats to another family member or person. Let's open to the next page, please. What is emotional abuse? Humiliating or constantly criticizing a person. Alright? That's emotional abuse. You enter somewhere, the first thing they will talk about is how ugly you are, how beautiful you look from afar, which means that when you now move near me, you are what? You are ugly. How horrible the pimples on your face is. All those things are emotional abuse. And as you do those things, you're wearing that person down psychologically. That person cannot talk about it, but when he or she gets home, he can't sleep. He's brooding about all those things that you have said to him or her. So she cannot walk again with her shoulder raised high. She's drooping because she feels ugly because of all those things that you have said to her. That is emotional abuse. When you threaten someone, guest speaker told us that when you bang on the table, you shout on someone, you threaten the person, just to make that person afraid so that that person cannot talk, that person cannot tell anybody around what is going on with him or her. That is emotional abuse. Blaming and
Rotary District. So the district governor has asked us to please open the floor for open conversation. So when we get to the panel discussion, we will have enough time to discuss and dialogue with our guest speakers. And on that note, I'd like to specially recognize our district governor nominee, the district governor for the new district, Rotarian, past Assistant Governor Larry Adedoye. Please a round of applause for him. I think this man deserves a round of applause. Very passionate Rotarian. Very, very passionate Rotarian. And I also like to specially invite to join us on the stage one of the panelists, Mr. Dosumu Abib Akim, an Assistant Director of the Ministry of Youth and Social Development. Please a round of applause for him as he steps forward to the stage. Fellowship. May I recognize the district Rotary representative-elect as one of the panelists also, for us who don't know that this young man will be ending the Rotary District 9110 Nigeria, the 40th District Rotary representative. Please put your hands together for Rotary Legit Abib, the past president from the Rotary Club of Maryland. Please a round of applause. That's the incoming DRL to be step forward to join us on this side. Yes, I'd like to invite Mrs. Umar to give a short remarks on behalf of the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Youth and Social Development, Pharmacist Toyin Osointolu. Please a round of applause for her.
The district governor, PDG Cameron Moto Shaw, one of my role models in Rotary, my very good friend in Rotary. Those are some of my good friends in Rotary. Rotarians here, Rotaractors, friends of Rotary. I say good afternoon to everybody. On behalf of the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Youth and Social Development, Pharmacist Mrs. Toyin Osointolu. She would have loved to be in our midst today, but for some official duties, she could not make it. And I started standing for her at this event. I am so elated to be here. I am a youth development practitioner, so I love working with young people. I like being in the midst of young people. I am so passionate about youth development. So anything that has to do with growth and development of young people, I am so glad to be part of it, as I am also a very young person, as you can see. Yes, we are all age mates. I want to commend the effort of the organizers of this event. It's a very good one, because the issue of abuse and harassment of young people is on increase. And like the second speaker said, a lot of us are abusing ourselves. We are not taking our health and mental health as priority. We feel that we have enough hand in our hands to use our youthful years the way we like, because we think that we will be youths for a very long time. But before we know it, adulthood is staring us in the eyes, and we are not prepared for it. Also, a lot of adults are abusing our young people these days, physically, emotionally, psychologically, and it comes from every quarter. The two speakers have emphasized that. However, as a government, Lagos State is strongly against any form of abuse for our young people, any form of abuse for any citizen of the state. We're so passionate that we are putting so many mechanisms to combat this. I'm sure if you are in our public schools, especially, you must have been hearing about one or two of these mechanisms that we have in place. You must have heard about DSVRA. They have a toll-free line. I'm going to drop some lines now when I'm going, that you can call them toll-free. I assure you they respond. The first speaker said that we should report If you see something, please say something. Let us learn to report abuse as soon as it happens. And threatening and intimidating you into silence. But immediately you break the silence and you break the shackle of abuse and harassment. We also have Elo Lagos centers. We have 8 across the states. We have YPE for age centers. We have 4 of them across the states. We have at Bagada, we have at Ikeja, we have at Mushi, we have at Ikorodu, we have at Alimosho, we have at Agege. You should take that time to search for something that will be more beneficial to you. A lot of you are on social media. So you have no excuse to say that you don't know what is happening. It's just because you only Google or check what you want to see. Let us also learn to check things that will help us. All these things I'm talking, they are there on the social media. You can access it 24/7 and the answer. If your teachers are not listening to you, call any of these lines. They will definitely respond, especially when it has to do with abuse and harassment. We also have our school social work. Mr. Jibril Joseph and Mr. Dosumi is here. They are passionate about going against abuse for children. Call on them, they will help you. Whatever form of abuse you are experiencing, from your parents, from your teachers, from your guardian, from the significant adult next to you, from your neighbors, from your friends, please learn to report. I sincerely want to commend the organizers, and I want to implore you to listen, take away valuable lessons, and be an ambassador of this program. Tell somebody else what you have learned here. Rotary cannot bring all students here. They are brought representatives from each schools. But by the time one of you is telling another person, then you know the message is spreading. So please, when you give this place, make sure you tell one person at least what you have learned here. You may be helping that person. On this note, I welcome you to this program. I wish you well, and like our first speaker said, I want to be at your graduation. I'm sure I'm going to be seeing a lot of you in great places very soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you very
aggressive pressure or intimidation. This could be daily or on the street or online. I'm aware that most of you here have a phone. Am I right? I want you to talk. Yes, yes. Very well. And so, like Dr. Gehring said earlier, that what you do to yourself is much more than what people do to you. What do you do with your phones? Yeah? No, one after the other. Oh, yeah, you. Okay, we start online. You are on Instagram. You are on Facebook. You are on TikTok. Snapchat. Yeah? You are on Snapchat. So if you are on Snapchat, you are in Lagos, and probably you have a friend in America or something. With Snapchat, the person already knows you are here if they want to find you. So you see what you're doing to yourself? That's what social media does. Harassing someone is to subject persistently and wrongly to annoying, offensive, or troubling behavior. Messages you send, you continuously send the same message to somebody and the person says stop and you refuse. You continue to say, I like you now. I like you now. But the person says he doesn't want. That is harassment. There are 3 types of harassment: verbal, racial, physical. Harassment is a behavior which is intended to trouble or annoy someone. For example, repeated attacks on them or attempt to cause them problems. Types of harassment could be, it's not limited to the things I want to list out. Cyberbullying, you have your phones, you go online, you do a lot of things that you should not do. To yourselves, to your mates, to your colleagues, to people you don't even know. Some of you lie that you are old when you are not. And so, somebody who is older than you is thinking that he is talking to somebody who is of their age. Meanwhile, you have lied that you are 18 years old. Meanwhile, you are 13. It's happening. It's happening. Psychological abuse, you have verbal abuse, discriminatory harassment, personal harassment, religion, gender harassment, rehabilitation harassment. It is not limited to all this I have listed. There are more. Let's see. Careful. Or like they are unable to participate in school. Bullying often involves an imbalance of power and can include physical, verbal, or psychological actions against the student. Bullying can also happen through communications, including social media. Harassment is when the speech or actions are so severe, pervasive, or targeted at a particular people that it hinders the student's ability to get an education, significantly harms their well-being, substantially interferes with their rights, or intimidates the students because of their identity. Some students have been known to kill themselves because someone did something that has pushed them to that extent. The list of the questions you may need to ask later on. But let me just ask you one quick question. Amongst all the students here, please, how many of you have the toll numbers? We have been told that there are toll numbers that you can call if you are a victim of abuse or harassment. How many? Just put up your hands. How many of you? I can see only one person. In this sea, two people? In this sea of heads. Okay, another question, a follow-up question to that, please. Teachers in this room, how many of you have processes in place for abuse, harassment, and discrimination against within your students? How many of you have policies in place? Okay, that's good. Later on, we're going to come out to find out if you are actually practicing these processes and not just having them in place, because we do have a problem amongst our students. Okay, and we will go to our panelists now to discuss these issues, and we will follow up with questions. We want participation. We don't just want you to sit down there looking handsome and pretty. We want participation. So I will start with the gentleman on my right, please.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm standing on the existing protocol. I've had reason to listen to all that has been said from this morning to this time. My name is Dr. Dosuma. I work with the Ministry of Youth and Social Development. I am the Child Protection Officer for the Lagos State, and I work for the Family Court. I sit in the Family Court as an assessor of the Family Court. All of the things we have said are staggering, but maybe I should make it more staggering. We have asked some of the questions that we need to ask. So the next in line is, where do we think that child abuse is the highest? The home or the school? Child abuse. Child abuse. Where do we think is the highest? The home or the school? The home or the school? What kind of man is the highest in school, in the home? Physical or sexual? We have to be consistent with our answers. So maybe you want to go back to the first answer, then check what you are saying. Abuse. Where does it happen most? The home or the school? The home. How many hours does the child spend at home? Does the child spend at home? Where does the child spend more hours? The school or the home? That's why I said, let me throw the bombs. Hello? That's why I said, let me throw the bombs. What I'm doing is throwing the bombs so that the issues can come out for us to take once and for all. The child spends more time with the school or the home. Who are the parents of the child when the child is at home? Who are the parents of the child when the child is at home? Who are the parents of the child when the child is at home? The what? I can't get the answer. The what? The mother? Absentees or present? Absentees or present? When the child comes back from school, who's at home? When the children are in school, who are the parents of the child? The teachers. Who are the parents of the child? The teachers. Do they have a parental authority or have an acquired parental responsibility? Do they have a parental authority or do they have an acquired parental authority? At where does that start? Inside the school or immediately at the gate? As where does it start? Immediately at the school or at the gate? At the gate. And when does it end? When every child is outside the gate. So when anything happens to the child in the school, who is responsible? Who is liable? Thank you, ma'am. Who is responsible? Who is responsible? If the child is taken to the school, who is responsible? The school acquires the parental responsibility, and each individual in that school becomes individually liable, while the school is collectively responsible. So that responsibility that they acquire terminates at the time when the child is legally in the hand of the person who is supposed to have the child. There are some words that I'm using that they have implication. I saw hands up that other time when they said, does the school has policy? Has anybody seen safeguarding and child protection policy before? The teachers. Never seen safeguarding and child protection. I've seen it before. I've seen it before. You have seen it before. Where is it in your school? Where does it reside in the school physically? Library? On the shelf? In somebody's bag? School principal's office? Where exactly does it reside? Are you following my point? Have you ever heard of what they call mandated reporter policy of Lagos State? Has anybody ever heard of what they call mandated reporter policy of Lagos State? Maybe I should rest for now.
Please continue. Make it such that they understand what you're talking about, and especially the teachers understand, because now you're going above their level. And you're talking to the teachers, the guardians, and the parents. Exactly. So break it down for them.
I'm going to do all of those breakdown. I just wanted to throw the bangers so that we know where exactly we are going. There are some 3 documents that makes us liable, responsible, and culpable. Whether as school, whether as children, whether as teachers. And each of those documents, if they are not in your school now, you are playing with fire. The first document that must be in your school, and your school must flag a visible commitment to. My word, a visible commitment to is that this school is in compliance to the Lagos State Child Rights Law of Lagos State, in compliance. The word in compliance has to be written in as a commitment. The second document that must, anybody who comes to your school, if you say you have policy of safeguarding, you start from the gate. And that commitment must be sent there. So if a school exists now in Lagos State and doesn't have it, that's where the issue starts. There's no physical commitment. The second commitment is the physical commitment to the Lagos State safeguarding and child protection policy. That this school is in compliance by procedure, by method, by practice to the provisions of Lagos State safeguarding and protection. That's the second one. And the third one is the mandated reporter policy of the state. Everybody who sees everything. The last person said, when you can write a letter, because it's called statement of a child. Where a statement of a child is written, that's gone beyond just the child seeing that is abused. That statement is a record. So where a child make a statement on record that abuse or harass, that statement is not supposed to be suppressed. If it's suppressed, the school, the teachers will be guilty of accessory and complicity. Accessory and complicity. Those are the things that we need, first of all, need to know. Again, let me go to most times when we talk, of course, speakers here have spoken about children versus children abusing themselves. But we highlight more children versus adults. Statistics in Lagos State shows that sexual abuse is more prevalent between children and children. Should I make the statement again? Sexual abuse in Lagos State is more prevalent between our children and their children, and other children. And that's why we need to look at it again. So, does the law make them liable? Yes. Method of them being liable is what the last speaker has spoken about. So, the thing is this. Sexual abuse and harassment happens more now in the school, followed closely in the same percentage is the home. Two places where children are supposed to be safe. That physical abuse used to happen more at home. The percentage now is increasing in the school. Again, there's a document that classifies the part of the body of a child in Lagos State. And those documents classify this into public parts and private parts. Can I have a female child in my front so that I can say this part distinctly, so that we don't get to them by ignorance? Can I have a female child in front of me? Can somebody volunteer for me as a female? Because I've seen some interactions while I'm seated here that were innocently done. The law is not, it doesn't look at innocent. Because of the prevalence of sexual harassment and harassment that we have seen, this law has classified the parts of children in Lagos State into public and private. The public one, there is no issue. But the private one, there is either a red card or a green card going to red. Nobody should touch it, nobody should fiddle with it, nobody should stimulate it, nobody should incite it, nobody should touch it. So, the body of it, can we be answering me? A female child, public or private? Public or private? Let me give you an example. Wherever you can stimulate reaction and you can cause the child to react, goes into private. Now let me ask that question back again. Is the head of the child public or private? Private. Is the head of a child public or private? Private. Any child or a girl child? Any child. Any child or a girl child? Any child. Any child. So nobody has the business to touch you in a way that looks like he's trying to stimulate you. That's why it's public. The frontal part of the head of a child, frontal part, public or private? I am trying to confuse you more. I said the head of the child. Is the frontal not part of the head? Is still what? It's still private. The neckline of a female, red card or green card. The neck of a female, red card or a green card? Red card or a green card? The neck of a male, red card or a green card? The neckline of a male, red card or green card? For a female is red, hot,
cat. Red hot cat. Bloodshot red. It's not allowed. Do not say prohibited. It's prohibited. For a male. Green card. Green card. If it goes beyond where my collar is for a male, it goes into. Are you getting me? Yes. If it goes below where my what is? This something. Yeah, all of this is visible for a male, isn't it? If it goes into for a male is what? But from any percentage for a female is what? Red, hot, blood, short, cat. Of a female. Mr. MC, on notice. Mr. MC on notice. The shoulder of a female. Red card or yellow card or blue card? Red hot card. Red hot card. Red hot card. The back line. From the top to before the bosom. Light red, or very bloody red card. It's bloody red card. The frontal part of where I've mentioned. There is no allocutus. For that one, there is no allocutus. There is no allocutus. Even for a doctor, that document says that no person is allowed to without a significant person with the child. No single doctor, especially a male doctor, supposed to see a female child in that area without a significant person. That's why if you go to the government hospital now, you have a male doctor and a female doctor as requirement in that document. So even the doctor is not allowed except with somebody with that person. So there's no reason why your hand should get 20 meters to that person at that area. Highly classified and confidential for both male and female. Down below the bosom to where the skirt lies. Exclusively red or what? Or blood or short red card. The parent is a bloody red card. Both front and back, you don't have a reason to touch it. No reason. Below from the nail to the foot of a female. Of a female, the word of a female. Of a female. Open or close? Public or private? Private, very private. The foot. Topmost of the foot. Huh? Okay, man. Topmost of the foot. Public is not classified as completely public. Topmost of the foot. But the lower part of the foot completely private. So these are the things we need to know. An harassment should not even get to that stage at all. A teacher has no right to use a hand to, how will I call it, to eat or tap, whether friendly, in a friendly manner, in a joking manner, or in a manner that looks like the one forbidden by the law.
Those words are heavy. There's a time when we do when we are joking, it's still offense. When we do it as if we are loving, it's an offense. If it now looks like a way that is prohibited, that's voila. K in Lagos State. I don't know about any other state. K has caused a lot of crises. I sit in the family court. I've seen children who have been beaten on their eyes and their eyeball. Bad to date. I've seen children who have been beaten by teachers and their backs look like a train walk on their back. In Lagos State, cane is prohibited. In Lagos State, I don't know about any other state. Cane. Yes, I know it will generate reaction. Is highly prohibited. The children who like that information, hold on. The children like that information, but the substitution to it, you won't like it. If you behave in a way that demands that a cane be used, your parents will be summoned by the councillor. It will do what they call justification of offence. If justification of offence guarantees that you are due for that cane, you do 24 hours attendance of a home in Lagos State. Are you with me? So it's not as if they take the cane completely away and there's no any other thing. If there's a councillor in that school and invites you to make a statement and there's a justification for it, you go and do what they call child attendance in a home. Sometimes you spend half of your holiday attending a home, correctional home. So don't think that when they say the cane is taken away, then you start behaving anyhow. The only thing that we think that the teachers don't know is that they are not aware that that exists in the law, and it exists. It's called child attendance order. The court can mandate you to attend that place for correction. So all of these things we need to know it. Now let me round up with this one. Now today I was going to a school to talk about child protection. And while I was coming in, I saw a child girl who was coming in around 9 o'clock, and the teacher, the senior prefect saw the child and asked the child to kneel down and walking from the gate to the class. So I now asked what was the child offense. He said the child is a perpetual late comer. So I said, can I see your records that this child is a perpetual offender, late coming? So they showed me. I said, where is the school counselor? They brought the person to me. I said, what have you done to make an inquiry about what this child is going through? He said, no, it's just a perpetual late comer. And I went for that. I called the girl in. And the girl, what the girl said to me was horrible. This was a girl that one of the factors that we see in homes to say whether that home is conducive or is negative is that when you have a girl child within the age of 8 and 12, living with that variables of a step parent, where the mother is a career person. And when immediately they mentioned that to me, I started asking the girl question. And all of the time they were visiting that girl, the girl had been sexually abused at home. When the father is not around, and that girl will move to school after the sexual harassment by the stepfather, and the school will now also punish that girl. Sometimes when we have school reports and it says a child comes to school, maybe school time attendance, they'll say 112. The time that the child is in school, they say 98. If that record comes to my record in my office as a child protection officer, I will make a query. Because somebody has to tell me where the child was in all the other days. So these are the things that we look for. Again, you have all of the Lagos State is supporting you with everything to speak up when you are harassed, when you are sexually abused. three things that you have to watch out for. And these are the weapons of the person who's going to settle there. That's where I will stop. It's 6 actually, but I'll just mention 3. Identification. The perpetrator or the pedophile always identify a particular kind of child. It's not every child. Those children have their mark, they are identifiable, they are different, and it spots them, it stakes them. The other one is baiting. Like maybe emotional baiting, maybe financial baiting, maybe sometimes pity. In the homes, they beat this girl, they isolate her, the person gives her affection, a substitute. It's called baiting. The other one is that it sustains that thing by something. It's sustained by something. Once those 3 are there, take your leave. It's the same way everywhere. If somebody is giving you an unnecessary, unwarranted, illogical attention, start carrying your goods and running away. No matter who the person is. Especially when it comes to don't tell, isolation goes inside it, take your spot. If any teacher harasses you, speak to your counselor. Escalate it. You can go anywhere. In the hospital we have 31 family codes. 31. Here that we have, there's one in Old Secretariat. There's a family code in Old Secretariat. There's one at Ogba. Go into any of this place. You don't need anyone to speak for you. Once you want to speak, everybody will listen to you. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you. Environment. And we as young adults, we as retractors, let me put it that way, we also are trying as much as possible to ensure that we, on our own level, we are able to come up with ideas that we can actually adopt to ensure that we are able to curb abuse in our communities, especially in our schools. So, but then there is one part that we want us to really pay more attention to. Yeah, the female folks, the female child, have been getting much more attention all over the world. The world is really paying attention to the female child. There is a whole lot of activities going on to protect the rights of the female child. But then, the question I would want to ask is that what happens to the male child? And a guy, actually. But then we need to protect ourselves. We need to pay attention to the male child, because as much as we try to protect the female child, in some communities, in some environments, we do not pay attention to the male child. And these male children grow up to now become the perpetrators of the evil acts we are trying to combat. So it is very much important that at this level, we also pay so much attention to the male child. The environment has conditioned us, in quotes, not to speak, because speaking up as a male child is seen as a form of weakness. Even in our homes, they'll tell you, so sorry, I have to speak Yoruba here. Why are you crying? That kind of scenario. Or probably as a male child, you had an encounter with a female child that is way much older than you, and you're trying to speak up in that kind of scenario. Elders in the community will tell you, you're a male child. You have to man up. You can't express your emotions because you're a male child. So all of these things have conditioned the male folks to grow up in a way that they are not able to speak up when they get abused. And all of this would condition their mindset and condition their growth in such a way that they see some of these things as normal. And when they are, they come of age and they are able to exert a form of authority over the younger generations, they go ahead to perpetrate this evil act. So as much as we're trying to protect the female folks, it is also very much important that we pay so much attention to these young men that will also grow up to become fathers, that will grow up to become uncles, to become husbands to the female child that we're trying to protect in the nearest future. So I think we need to pay much attention to that. Thank you.
Not talk to the police, security officers, unless there is an adult. Why not?
Thank you. I want to
the person from Ministry of
Youth and Social Development.
If you listen very well, he said that when things happen, that an adult must be there. Did you hear that? Now, if you are given, if you make a statement and there is nobody to guide you, your father, your mother, or somebody that is an adult with you, and you make a statement that will put you in deeper trouble, then there is no redeeming value for you at the end of the day. That is why we, as lawyers, tell you that in making, because you are a child, under the Lagos State Child Rights Act or law of 2015, you cannot give a statement without a significant adult present. That is the law.
Thank you. Thank you.
Others around students to help over their problems. If the teachers or those people in charge are involved, when there is an agent of harassment in the school or in the organization, because like an hierarchy, I may try to pass through the president to meet the DG, or in particular to when the president may be involved in such cases. That is my number one question. Then, number two question is, all this is very important, but how can we provide permanent solution to all this? Because as we know, family is a building block or as a bedrock of a nation. How do we talk to some people or to advise them when they won't listen? Because at times it's like you can't tell a monkey that there are other food better than banana when it's already addicted to the banana. Then the last question.
Okay, just hold on. These questions, who are they addressed to? The first question, who is it addressed to?
One of the questions is addressed to students yesterday as I met.
No, actually, because it's the presenters and the
It's a general question.
Okay.
Then lastly, how can you raise funds to help a fellow harassed students especially during hard time? Thank you.
One and the answer. Okay, let me start with the one I had you. Let's say you talked about how can you stand for and with the person whom you know is going to either abuse or harassment in the school. When it involves somebody who is important or part of them. I think the foremost thing you need to also know that abuse, one of the variants of abuse is that there's a status play and there's a power play. People abuse the person that they have those you have power or authority over more of the time. So if that happens, the other persons have responsibility first to stand with the person. Because the first thing I want that become issues when abuse happens, is it true? Is it false? That's why somebody said a statement of a child, there must be somebody there who's helping the child to put it there in record as fact. Because by the time it's covered into bigger issues, it will look like the child is just lying. So you first of all, if you are a witness to it, or you had it being reported, you must have the capacity and the ability to stand by that person at all the stages that it may go. If it stops at consolation, fine, you are a witness to it, to stand by it. That will stand by that person emotionally, support the person, then ensure that that person does not feel being left alone. That always happens. They feel, if it happens, everybody will leave me alone. So if the person has a person with that person, it helps. So if an abuser speaks to another person, stand by that person, stand with that person, stand for that person. That will help the victim. Then, whatever you need to do, because you are a criminal person now, if it goes beyond that school, you become like a person with evidence. And that is always very difficult.
And that's why more of the time we don't have cases in court. We say, oh, you cannot go, you not go and use it as witness. And if the child doesn't have a witness, the case is already there. So you must stand with the child, stand for the child, and stand for what you think is right. That's the first thing. The second question is what? I'm going to answer. One of the things I'm not very proud to say now.
Hello.
Is family.
Hello. Please, this affects all of you.
The question you have asked now. One of the pains of Lagos State. You know, we have moved from cosmopolitan to metropolitan to smart city. We are now going to rising Lagos. But one of the things that is tearing apart quickly and is breaking down quickly is the family. The objection now is that most marriages now don't survive. Very small real marriages survive 5 to 50 years. So that means that marriage has problems. So all of this problem we are saying is coming from it. But as difficult as it is, the state is moving to that one also. There's going to be like a regulation now for families in Lagos State. But the key answer that I want you to just take home is that stand by the person that you know is abused. Stand by the person when it is right, not when the person is creating phantom. Because one of the people we are facing now that people are creating phantom. So it's very difficult to know the truth from the lies. But no matter what it is, once the statement is made, we stand by it.
Thank you very much, sir. Hello, please, let's be seated.
We said that when you are passed through that, you need a counselor. At times you may need a psychiatrist, somebody that will help you, so that you will know that most likely you are not the only person that has passed through that. We have what we call group counseling, where we bring together victims, people maybe we talk too much about sexual abuse. It's more than that. It may be physical abuse. We put them together. Then by the time they all start talking, you will find out that I'm not the only one that is passing through this. It happens among adults too. You know, when you bring them together, maybe somebody is going through violence in marriage. By the time you bring people together, it may not even be physical beaten. It may be verbal. By the time you now come together in a group counseling, you now discover that I'm not the only one. You'll be able to rub minds together and you'll be able to find solution to your problem. And then you'll be able to learn that you are not at fault for anything. Why would somebody go and rape a 65-year-old woman? Why would somebody rape a baby of 2 months? By the time you come together like that, so such a person needs counseling. That is it. Or such a person may have to be referred to the psychiatrist.
Thank you.
Because such things can lead to mental problems.
Thank you. 137. DSB is not complete, so I'll get the correct number. Child protection can reach out to Child Protection Network on 080 77 333 426. I go again, 080 77 333 426. Hello Lagos, Alimosho, Hello Lagos, 091 28 71 9586. If you are an adolescent here and you reside around Lafiaji at Lagos Mainland, Mushin, Ikorodu and Araromi Gbagada, you can reach out to YPE for AH at Things Matter on Twitter and Instagram, and Hello Lagos at Lasut 090 6463. And on that note, I'd like to bring to the side Mola to give us Molali advice.
Yeah, very active, very good. Well, I'm going to talk to you from the parent's perspective as a mother. It's just a piece of advice. You've heard so much from the panelists, you've heard so much from everybody that has spoken today. And as a mother, what I can tell you is the reassurance that you should speak up. Speak up all the time. Most of this time when things like this happen, people will say it's going to stigmatize you. When you say it, it's going to bring you down. No. In fact, it could even bring you more popular and get you to the best level. So as a mother, I'm going to say that the treatment and the raising of children should not just be on girls' child alone. It should be for both sex, the boys and the girls. In my own house, I don't have a girl, I don't have a boy. I used to tell my male children that come, well, I don't ask you to come as a male. You will cook, you will wash, we have dates and time for doing houseworks, and I share them equally. And today they are good for it. So please, children, make your parents your best friends. Don't bring friends outside that will put you into problem. Make them your best friends. But when you have conservation, because obviously some parents are, well, I don't know, but then you can make friends from those that you feel will make you more better than who you have. So I'm sure you must have gained a lot from what has been discussed today. In fact, personally, I'm happy that I'm part of this program. And I'm sure you're all happy that you're part of this program. Congratulations. Congratulate the next person to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Before I invite the incoming district governor.
Students, how are you? Are you happy to be here today? Yes, ma'am. Have you gained knowledge? Yes, ma'am. Are you going to put the knowledge to good use? Yes, ma'am. So now you know the difference between being abused and being playful. And you can know when somebody is trying to abuse you. You know, from the point of a mother. All I would say is that as students and as children, try to behave yourself, especially in a public place. Do not put yourself in a situation that will enable your opponent to want to abuse you. You know, at times we use our hands to attract abuse without knowing it. Either from our conduct, the way we dress, the way we talk, and the way we want to play with the opposite sex. Forgetting that it's an opposite sex, like most of the things you were taught, you touch them where you're not supposed to touch them, you arouse their sensibilities. And anything can happen. So all you have learned here today, I will implore you to go home, put it to good use, behave yourselves in schools, at home even, and in any public place. Be respectable, make yourself respectable citizens. Do not attract abuse. And when you are abused or somebody is trying to abuse you, run to the nearest adult around you and report the person. Don't keep quiet. Most of us keep quiet when we see the sign until finally we get abused. So from the moment you see a sign, please don't keep quiet. Report the sign to forestall the abuse from happening. When you keep quiet, then the person will abuse you a second time. I wish all of you well, and I hope that when you go back to your schools, you'll all be good children. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You see, the essence of what you have learned today is that it should make you a better person, it should make you an informed person, and it should make you more knowledgeable about what life is. Some of us will say, Islam, I can sit on Islam. Don't you witness things like that? Do you? Yes. Somebody will say, he's my teacher, he can touch any part of me because he's correcting me. Those things are wrong. It doesn't matter whether you are a male student or a female student. you are very young and you are at an impressionable age where you can remember some of the things that have happened to you. So as you go to your various schools, I want you to take one message. To your classmates, to your schoolmates, to your teachers, and to the school authority, whatever you have learned here, please share with them. Let them know that you came to this event and it has benefited you. Because if you don't go back to your school to tell them what you have experienced today, you are not helping yourself. So, do I get it from you that you are going to share this with your colleagues? That yes is not loud enough. I wish you well in your journey of life. Thank you very much.